It started as a simple birthday post. It ended as one of the most talked about moments fans had seen from the pair all year. On August 22nd, 2026, figure skating fans found themselves smiling at something that had nothing to do with jumps, lifts, or scores. It came from Riku Miura, one half of the most celebrated pairs team Japan has ever produced. And the person on the receiving end was her longtime partner, Ryuichi Kihara, who turned 34 that day. The message itself was warm, it was sincere, and then, right at the end, she dropped in a single line that completely changed the tone, and completely won over the internet. So what did she actually say? And why did 4 words at the very end matter more than everything that came before them? Let's start from the top. Miura opened her post the way you'd expect. "Happy birthday," she wrote. She acknowledged that Kahara had closed out a long competitive career and was now stepping into a new chapter, chasing a different kind of dream than the one that defined his skating years. This wasn't a message about medals or scores. It was about the road ahead, the actual life waiting for him beyond the rink. Then came the part that felt like a quiet wish from someone who's known him for years. She hoped he'd stay exactly as he's always been, serious, careful, positive, on its own. That's about as tender and ordinary as a birthday message between two people who've spent a career side by side can get. And then, almost as an afterthought, she added the line that flipped the whole thing on its head. "Please stay an elementary schooler." Read that again. A 34-year-old Olympic gold medalist. And his partner's telling him to stay in elementary school. At first glance, it sounds like a joke that shouldn't land. Why would you describe an adult, one who just won gold at the Milano Cortina Olympics no less, using a phrase usually reserved for a 10-year-old? But that's exactly the point. It's not really about age at all. Anyone who has followed Miura and Kahara through the years knows there's a version of Kahara the public rarely sees in competition footage. The one who goofs around, who lights up a room without trying, who carries a kind of unguarded playfulness that stands in total contrast to the composure he shows on the ice. Miura has spent enough time next to him through practice sessions, through nerve-wracking short programs, through the countless unremarkable moments that never make it onto a broadcast to know that side of him intimately. Calling him an elementary schooler isn't a jab, it's shorthand. It's the kind of thing only someone who has logged thousands of hours with a person could say and have it land as affection instead of insult. And that's precisely why fans reacted the way they did, not with confusion, but with laughter and warmth in equal measure. Because underneath the humor was something more meaningful. Miura wasn't just praising the skater. She was asking him to hold on to the human being underneath the skater, the same one who stays serious, stays careful, stays positive, and still somehow keeps that childlike brightness intact. Miura didn't stop at text. Alongside the message, she posted a stream of casual, behind-the-scenes photos, snapshots that had nothing to do with medal ceremonies or competition uniforms. These were quieter images, the kind that only exist because two people have spent years building a life alongside each other, not just a career. For fans, the photos did something the caption alone couldn't. They gave a glimpse into a relationship built over time, one shaped as much by shared silence and small moments as by shared triumphs. People scrolling through the post weren't just reading a birthday greeting, they were being handed a scrapbook. The comments told their own story. Some fans wished Kahara well on the road from elementary schooler to a wonderful grown-up, playing right along with Miura's joke. Others insisted the elementary schooler line simply couldn't be cut, it was too perfectly him. Still others pointed out how natural and at ease Kahara always seems whenever Miura is the one describing him, as if her account of him captures something no interview ever could. What comes through in all of it is this: fans aren't just invested in the results these two produced on the ice. They're invested in the relationship itself, the ease, the familiarity, the years of trust that let a joke like "stay in elementary schooler" feel like one of the warmest things you could say to someone. It's worth pausing here to ask a bigger question. Why does a pairs partnership like this one carry so much emotional weight for fans in the first place? Pair skating isn't just two athletes performing side by side. It demands something harder to quantify, a level of trust that has to survive missed lifts, mistimed landings, injuries, and the slow grind of retooling a program until it finally clicks. That trust doesn't get built during a 4-minute free skate. It gets built across years of practices that never make headlines, through moments where things didn't go right and the only way forward was to keep showing up for each other. That's the foundation. That's the foundation. Beneath everything Miura and Kahara accomplished, in February 2026, the pair made history, becoming the first Japanese pairs team to win Olympic gold, capturing the title in Milano Cortina. It was a milestone Japan had never reached in this discipline, and not long after that triumph, their competitive story reached its natural close. Here's where most retirement stories tend to follow a predictable arc. An athlete reaches the summit, and the obvious question becomes, what's left to chase after that? But Miura's message didn't frame Kahara's next chapter around competition at all. She wasn't celebrating him as an athlete transitioning into whatever comes next in the sport. She was celebrating him as a person, someone starting a new stretch of life, one that has nothing to do with scores or podiums. That's exactly why the phrase new start carries so much weight here. Retirement didn't close the book on their story together. If anything, it opened a different one, a chapter defined by a different kind of dream, one neither of them had space to chase while chasing medals. And her request that he stay unchanged, that he hold on to the same qualities he's always had, reads as something bigger than nostalgia. It's gratitude for who he's been, paired with genuine anticipation for who he's about to become. Think about how heavy this story could have been told. Olympic gold, a long competitive career, retirement, the start of a completely new path. Strung together like that, it reads like the makings of a deeply emotional, almost bittersweet farewell. Instead, Miura chose to end it with a joke about elementary school. And that single choice reshaped everything that came before it. Rather than landing as a solemn goodbye, the whole post settled into something softer, something unmistakably them. Two people who accomplished extraordinary things together and still know how to make each other laugh. That contrast between monumental achievement and an utterly ordinary, silly closing line is exactly what fans have come to love about this pair. It's not just what they did on the ice. It's who they are once the competition ends and the cameras stop rolling. Someone who takes his craft seriously, but who also lets a little bit of childlike joy show through no matter how high the stakes. What's genuinely striking about this birthday message is what it didn't emphasize. It wasn't a tribute built around turning 34. It didn't dwell on age markers or milestones. Instead, Miura's focus stayed fixed on the things time doesn't erode: seriousness, care, a forward-looking attitude, and a smile that doesn't fade. Slipping elementary schooler into that list only reinforces something that can't be summed up in a single sentence. Kahara's appeal was never one-dimensional. Competitive sport tends to reward constant growth, sharper technical execution, steadier performances, better outcomes over and over. But this message pointed somewhere else entirely. Growing older, growing more adult was never the whole story. What actually mattered, according to the person who knows him best, was making sure that whatever comes next, the same brightness and sincerity stay exactly where they've always been. That's what turned this from a simple birthday greeting into something fans couldn't stop talking about. It was a celebration of a career that's now complete, a cheer for a new chapter that's just beginning, and, thanks to someone who has shared more than a few years and more than a few ice rinks with him, a message that managed to be a little bashful, a little funny, and completely genuine all at once. And so the post closes exactly where it started drawing attention, with joy written all over it and one small, unforgettable request. Please stay an elementary schooler. It isn't a wish to turn back the clock. It's something closer to an appeal that after everything Kahara has achieved, after the years of training and the Olympic gold that came from it, the person underneath all of it stays exactly who he's always been. Their story on the ice reached its finish line. But watching a moment like this, it's clear the relationship behind it hasn't ended at all. If anything, a new stretch beyond competition is just getting started. And judging by how fans reacted to this post, they're more than ready to see where it goes next. Happy birthday, Ryuichi Kihara. Here's to whatever comes next, elementary schooler energy fully intact. Fully intact.